Welcome. In this explainer, we'll be examining the Tafsir of Surah Al-Baqarah, focusing on verses 11 through 13. Our analysis is guided by the exegesis of the distinguished scholar Sayyid Mahdi al-Husseini al-Shirazi.
Now, these verses present us with a really powerful dialogue. It's a conversation that pulls back the curtain on the defining traits of the hypocrites, who are known in Arabic, of course, as the munafiqun. We're going to explore how they saw themselves versus how the divine revelation actually exposed their reality.
So our analysis really kicks off with this direct confrontation. You have the believers issuing a very clear command to the hypocrites. And their response, well, it's not guilt, it's not even denial, it's a claim of righteousness. And this claim is really at the very heart of their self-deception.
All right, let's examine this first characteristic that's revealed in these verses, and that is the hypocrites' profound belief that they are agents of positive change, that they are, in their own words, reformers.
Here the conflict is just laid bare. It's a clash of two completely opposite worldviews. On one side, the believers see an act of corruption. On the other, the hypocrites see that exact same act as a necessary reform. And this just begs the question, how can their perspectives be so wildly different?
The exegete makes it clear that corruption here isn't just about any general wrongdoing. In this specific context, it means actively working against the divine message that was brought by the prophet. It's a fundamental opposition to the entire project of Islam.
So, from their point of view, the call to a sincere faith was actually a threat. It challenged their social standing, their wealth, their entire way of life. So in their minds, pushing back against Islam, well, that wasn't corruption. It was a kind of reform to protect their own interests.
And here the Qur'an delivers its decisive rebuttal. It doesn't just disagree with them. It states with absolute certainty that they are the corruptors. But the most crucial part is that final phrase, but they perceive it not. This points to a blindness so deep, they're completely out of touch with their own reality.
Sayyid al-Shirazi brings up a critical point here. He says the corruption of a hypocrite is so much more damaging than that of an open disbeliever. Think about it. An open enemy is clear. You know where they stand, you can anticipate their actions. But the hypocrite, they work from the inside, hidden in the disguise of a friend, which makes their treachery so much more powerful.
This point is driven home even more strongly in another chapter of the Qur'an, Surah Al-Munafiqun, which is named after the hypocrites themselves. This verse actually confines the very definition of the enemy to them, really emphasizing the severe and unique danger they pose to the community.
Now let's pivot to the second defining trait of the hypocrites. This one is all about a deep-seated intellectual arrogance, which leads them to see sincere faith as a sign of foolishness.
So when noble companions, people like Salman al-Farsi or Ammar ibn Yasir, called them to a sincere, wholehearted faith, the same faith held by the community, the hypocrites didn't respond with reflection. No, they responded with mockery and derision.
You see, they looked at the sincere believers, the ones who sacrificed for their faith without any calculation, and they called them sufaha, or the foolish. In their own minds, their two-faced strategy, pretending to be believers while protecting their worldly status, that was the smarter, more intelligent way to live.
And just like before, the divine verdict completely flips their accusation on its head. The Quran declares that true foolishness belongs to the hypocrites. Their state is so dangerous, they're not true believers, but they're not clear disbelievers either, that it represents the ultimate failure of good judgment. And once again, they're blind to this truth, but they do not know.
Now here's a particularly insightful point in this analysis, the subtle but really profound difference in the Arabic words the Quran uses to describe their unawareness. This isn't just repetition, it's a precise diagnosis of their spiritual and intellectual condition.
Okay, let's break this down, because it's a brilliant distinction. When talking about their corruption, the Quran uses the term la yash'urun, which means they do not perceive. This suggests a blindness of the heart, a lack of spiritual insight needed to feel the weight of their own moral decay. But when it comes to their foolishness, it uses la ya'lamun, meaning they do not know. This points to an intellectual failure, an inability to grasp the simple, rational truth of their own poor judgment. So their blindness is total. It covers both the spiritual and the intellectual realms.
So, let's bring all these threads together to really understand the complete profile of the hypocrite that's being presented in this incredibly powerful passage.
What we've seen is that hypocrisy isn't just about deceiving other people. It's a deep state of self-deceit. It's this dangerous mix of destructive actions and arrogant dismissal of truth, and a complete inability to see oneself clearly, both on a spiritual and an intellectual level.
And this leaves us with a final, vital question to reflect on. If self-deception can be this complete, this blinding, what then is the path to achieving the kind of sincere self-awareness that can protect a person from such a state? Thank you for joining this explainer.